Hello guys, full time here at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 1, Manchester City 1. A last gasp equaliser from Gabriel Martinelli, making another massive contribution off the subs bench. I do think Arsenal were good value for at least a point today. Took the game to City. There weren't a ton of clear-cut chances in the game. City's, the ones they did have, came on the break. By the end of the game, they were kind of clinging on with a back five. I was actually surprised how negatively they went. I think they didn't leave enough threat on the field. And in the end, Arsenal's pressure told. It was a clip ball over the top from Eze, one substitute for Martinelli to run onto, and a beautiful finish, lifting it over Donnarumma, who had been a thorn in our side until that point in the game. Listen, I'm still pretty disappointed in the result. I wonder if I'll be reading the room appropriately there. I imagine people are going to be thrilled about the equaliser and what character we showed and all that. But I think at home against this City team, which I really do not think is of the calibre of some of the recent City teams that we've seen, I think Arsenal should have won this game. I think this is a game where we should have been looking to take 3 points. Obviously, I'm delighted that there's a point there, and credit to the players for keep pushing deep into stoppage time. But yeah, I've got an itchy nose, sorry. Listen, I think anything less than 3 points today was going to feel a bit underwhelming. That's the truth. I've kind of got a bone to pick with the selection. And maybe that's sort of grinding my gears a bit. When Mourinho was picked against Anfield, I think most of us sort of understood it, but many of us didn't necessarily love it. And then this weird thing happened where, because we were criticised for it, or Arteta was criticised for it, when Mourinho then scored a hat-trick in midweek for Spain a few days later, all the Arsenal fans started sort of saying stuff like, well, yeah, I told you he wasn't a DM. The debate was never if he was a DM. No one with any brains is saying he's a DM. They're saying, is he a good enough creative midfielder to replace Martin Odegaard? Creative being the key word in that sentence. And I don't think he is. And I think lineups send a message. I'm probably going to bang on about this for the next 48 hours. You'll get sick of me saying it. But at half-time, there was a kind of gallows humour in the stands. Arsenal fans sort of making jokes about the fact that the big screens were now showing Escape to the Country on BBC One, having started showing the women's game. People saying, oh, I'd rather be watching that. A lot of that sort of thing. Everyone's finishing their beers, you know, and typically they take their time doing that. I was in that concourse. When the fans saw Eze and Bukayo Saka coming on, you know, they were pictured on the big screen in the concourse. I've never seen that concourse empty so quickly. I've never seen fans so desperate to get back in their seats. Because selections send a message. They tell you about intent. They tell you about ambition. And I think that Mikel Arteta's starting lineup did not have enough of that. You know? I'm going to walk and talk. But, you know, I'm looking at a Man City 11 that's got Reinders in it, Phil Foden playing off one side. It's got Bernardo Silva in a central midfield role. They are finding space for highly technical, highly creative players at a time when all the narrative in the Premier League is, oh, it's back to being about physicality, it's back to being about physicality, it's back to being about giants, you know. But no, City found room for some very technical, very skillful players. And I think we need to. I think we need to, because look what difference Eze makes when he comes on. I'm not saying he was perfect. A couple of defensive moments that worried me. Nearly booted the ball in off Rice. But I think lineups are important. I think selection's important. I want to see Arteta be bold. You know, all summer we reported with good sourcing that one of the reasons Arsenal might not go for Eze is because they see him primarily as a central player. Well, you paid 65 million for him. You need a central creative player. Play him. That's my view, guys, and I'm a bit grumpy about it. No one's saying Mourinho's a DM. They're saying he's not a creator. He's not a 10. I'm delighted for Martinelli. I would have had him in the starting lineup over Trossard, to be fair. I know Trossard's a really good player, had a good week, but I thought Martinelli was superb as a sub in Bilbao. I guess, in Mikel Arteta's defence, he was superb as a sub today. Maybe they see that as his role. You know, when the game is stretched, when there's more space to exploit, he's at his best, maybe. What else to say? Look, City weren't great. They were pretty negative. Donnarumma's helped them, but I think he was obviously caught out on the goal. But he's made them stronger on set pieces. He's got a lot of presence. I don't think we got around him enough. When the ball was at his feet, I don't think we pressed him as much as we could have done. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think Gyökeres can press as much as Mikel Arteta would like. Personally, I feel Kai Havertz is going to get back into this team when he's fit. That's my current feeling on it. So yeah, listen, great equaliser, delight for Martinelli. We deserved the point, at least. I'm still a bit disappointed. I think when a manager makes 2 changes at half time, he's saying I got it wrong. That's my view. I think he got it wrong. Did we play badly? No. But why did City get the lead? Because they had a piece of exceptional play. You know, a perfectly executed counter-attack, an unbelievable run from Haaland, and, you know, an inevitable finish. What got us our equaliser? A couple of bits of exceptional attacking play. Eberechi must be injured, by the way. I thought he was our best player in the first half. He must be injured. Because I was at half-time advocating for getting Saka on the left, because, you know, Kusanov and then Nunes, who came on, neither of them are really right backs, and I think we could have got them more in that area had we got Saka over on that side potentially, or had we got Martinelli on a bit sooner. Yeah, listen, it's a point, it's something, it's an important point. I think a defeat here would have been really dispiriting and disheartening. A hard game in the league next week against Newcastle away, very hard. So I think especially important we got something here. I will leave it there for now. Sorry if you think I've been a bit down. It's just, I think I spent a lot of the game sort of slightly annoyed. And actually, like, the way the equaliser came about just made me feel like, rather than being like, aha, the power of subs, we did it, we made the right changes at the right time, I sort of felt like probably should have had Eze on from the start in a way. I think we would have been better. Anyway, let me know what you think. Maybe I've got this one wrong. I was in block 6 today, so didn't have, you know, my analyst hat on. It was very much more my fan hat. It's maybe a slightly more emotional response. I'll leave it there, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.